The Seattle Sounders undefeated streak continues. The Sounders are definitely in a roll, and today it was a 4-1 win over St. Louis.
There was a lot of quality, 29 shots, 20 inside the box, a lot of quality in the attacking third, and I actually really enjoyed watching that game.
All right, with that, we're going to open up to you all for questions. I saw hands in the front row, so we'll start down with Maz and then go to Jose next.
Yeah, Brian, I just kind of got a little script here. There was the goal where the pass went from Stephen Fry to Alex to Obed to Ryan to Albert and back to Obed for the goal. I mean, just what do you say about the movement, the vision, and the execution?
Well, it's all good. I mean, the kid scored a good goal. Yes, it was deflected, and you could pick that apart. But anytime you can go from back to front, start with your goalkeeper, and you end with a goal, it means you're doing something right. And Nuhu, has had a really good career for the Seattle Sounders. He's a Cameroonian national team player. I get all of that. He entertains the fans. I get all of that. But as he progresses into the prime of his career, these are the kind of performances that he needs to have every week, okay? Because coaches love guys that are steady. We don't like guys that are high and then low and high and low. And he's at that point now where he needs to be at this level, at his standard, for a consistent period of time. And he might disagree with me. You can watch this and we can debate it. But you have to make sure that the level that you played at tonight stays high. And I'm not just talking about the goal, because the goal was great, okay, fine. But he did a lot of good things. What I was proud of him specifically in this game is we build in 3-2, but the tactical awareness of, they only played with one forward, they were 5-4-1. So Nuhu and Yaimar and Kim Ki-hee could deal with Klaus. And so Nuhu picked 3 or 4 opportunities, even in the first half, to go forward to be effective. Now, second half, he might have got carried away, but I was very proud of him to understand that tactical nuance, that we were good here and he could provide a little bit more, juice up here in this part of the field. Within the game is subtle, whether we play 3-4-3 or backline of 5, whatever you guys want to call it, and whether we play 4-2-3-1, the nuance there in our attacking movements, it doesn't change that much. We still occupy the same parts of the field. There are certain things that, personnel decisions in 4-2-3-1 might be easier because you got one less defensive guy on the field, or a tweener like Paul, who did a great job throughout this year. So we'll tinker back and forth with 4-2-3-1 and 3-4-3 for certain games. And it's great to have that in your back pocket. And, if I look at the team tonight and I'm looking at the offensive firepower, I think 4-2-3-1 is going to be used pretty heavily at home.
One thing I found that everybody run, they run especially harder. I've noticed that in the team that I'm playing in right now. If somebody gives the ball away, you can guarantee the man to the right or to the left of him is going to pull him out of trouble. It's a very humble dressing room. Everybody works hard for everybody. In terms of the opponents, one thing I would say is more end-to-end. Football, which is something I thrive in. A lot more open spaces. Looking forward to carrying on playing these games.
The Sounders were playing well first half, kind of set it up well, but it seemed like once you got on the field, it just took on another level of kind of playing downhill almost. Was there anything that you felt like you had to do or that you were able to do to sort of help kickstart that?
Well, I know I have. I've come here, to make an impact for this team. I have to thank a lot of people for getting me here. I had a long time out of the game. Speaking to Sean, Craig, Adrian, You know, Andy Rose was pivotal in me coming here, from knowing him in the past. You know, and I've got to thank the coaches especially for you know, for the time that I've been here. You know, Brian, Preki, Freddie, Andy again, and you know, all the coaches behind the scenes to get me up to where I need to be. You know, I need to show them I can come on in these games and make an impact. You know, to show them I'm ready to, you know, to go from the start now. You know, I'm getting that. More importantly, I want to show. You know, I need to remind myself as well. You know, like I said, like the first 2 weeks I was there, you know, sometimes I was throwing over the ball in training and I'm thinking like, I don't have it anymore. You know, but like coming on into games like that and, you know, reminding myself I can, you know what I can do with the ball. You know, I want to come and excite these fans. And you know, they was amazing in the second half, especially. Like you could feel the energy around the stadium. You know, and I'm looking forward to, you know, playing many more games.
So there you go. You heard a little bit from Brian Smetzer, and just in terms of, you know, how this team is playing, and there's true competition on this team, and you saw that, right? The Sounders it was tied 1-1 at half, then the Sounders come back and score 3 unanswered goals, and Rusnek tied the game with the penalty, and then you got Nuhu, you got Musovski, and also Obed Vargas. So really this team is on a roll, and there's so much competition. Why are they scoring? Why were they able to do that? They're able to get down the flanks in the primary assist zone, and then you had multiple runners in the box. Not only was a square pass available, but they also had the far pass over there if one wanted to go across the goal mouth. And so when you're penetrating down the flanks and then you have multiple runs, the first one, the second one, and 3 different runs in the box, you score 4 goals in a game. And that's what you're seeing with the Sounders now. Also, Obed Vargas is pushing up into the final third. Do not forget about the role that Christian Roldan is playing, because it is his ability to anchor the defense that's allowing Obed Vargas to push in that next third attacking zone. So the Sounders continue to be on a roll offensively. From Lumen Field in Seattle, I'm Asvita Maria for the CascadesSports.net report. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for subscribing.